River Pass.
Right, take 54. This is the original route, starting in Causeway in the Western Cape of South Africa, on the edge of the Swartberg Mountain Range, which separates kind of the coastal plateau with the Karoo. Plan was then to turn left and go to Prince Albert, and then back again to the T-junction, and then out over the Swartberg Pass again. Staying with Kevin Taylor at Gasteria Grange, which is just in a small holding just outside Carletstorp. Fantastic place, great accommodation, one campsite and 2 or 3 cottages. From there, Hace River Pass. Unfortunately I didn't see too much. There was a lot of rain on the first day, but a spectacular pass, all tarred, and some pretty tough climbs, but not too bad. And then from the top it's freewheel all the way down to Zaar. Then this section towards the pass, pretty flat, good condition. The road's in good condition. In fact, the road all the way along up until this point where the turnoff is in really good condition. Fantastic stay at Oppie Plaas with Fritz and his family on his farm. He caters for, as I said, the freedom race riders, and he's got various options. You can camp next to his farm dam, you can have a tented glamping type setup, and he's got accommodation inside the dining room as well. So that was quite an experience. But yeah, great facilities there. So that's about 7 k's from the turnoff, from the entrance to the Seweweekspoort. Then this road from here to the turnoff is good, and then from here to the top of the ladder, this is a 4x4 track. There's a lot of pushing, there's some steep climbs. It's not an easy one, especially the climb to the top of Signal Hill. It's pretty hectic. Then once you get to the ladder, as I said, took me 2.5 hours to get to the bottom. You just have to be careful. You can have your bike fully loaded, just really careful clambering over some of the rocks and some very tight switchbacks to get down. And then you cross a tiny little stream, and there's some cottages at the bottom. Those are private property. It had been raining the few days before, and what had happened was that because the rain was concentrated in the catchment area of the dam was at 110%, was overflowing. The sluice gates were open, and they had opened up some valves to supply river water and to relieve the pressure on the dam. So there's a causeway right here, and that was completely flooded. Impossible, totally impossible. So I was stuck there for 5 days, and I got to know the guys in the valley. There were 3 guys also. Well, they weren't trapped, but they live on this side, and they look after the cottages at Boerplaas. Abram looking after the Boerplaas cottages at the top, and then Pitt sort of halfway down, looking after some little cottages over there, and then near the bottom, Owen looking after private property and a campsite closer to the river. It's fantastic places, absolutely awesome. The guys were very friendly. In fact, I was running out of food, and I was given some food by Abram, and it was I explored the valley, took time out, and it was a different plan to what I originally thought, but it all worked out well. So on the 6th day, every day I would come down to the river to have a look to see the levels, and it was just no go. And on the 6th day I came to the river, and it had dropped enough for me to get through. I did a test walk through the river, and eventually went back and got my stuff, and then crossed the river by taking all the bags off and ferrying the stuff over, and then continued on. So that was from there to Fontaine Pass, which is a big centre with a restaurant run by Pitt and Marionnette Joubert. Pitt is 5th generation in the valley, so he knows all the ins and outs and the history of the valley itself, including the story about the car that was brought in before this road was built, this top road. Only this little bottom valley road existed, and they brought a car in through this gorge over here, not over down Die Leer or Die Leer over here, but through the gorge. They didn't they, in one piece they managed to get donkeys and pull it through. That was before the dam was built. So anyway, in fact, part of that car is at Fontaine Pass, the front end of it. You can see it in their garden. So they've got a restaurant, and you can get some basic supplies there, and there's refuel, and they're at KP 30. Sorry, I'm not sure what KP they, but this is KP 0, and Eland's Pass is KP 30. So they're at about KP 55. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to check it out, put it in the comments. But yeah, now because I'd been stuck here for 5 days, it threw my whole plan out, and I had to make a plan to get out as soon as possible because I had commitments, and it did mean that I wasn't able to go to Prince Albert. So instead of turning left here, I turned right, so I didn't do this section. But when I got there, Pitt kindly offered to help to get me to the top of Eland's Pass. That's a hectic climb. Yeah, so one of the things when you do plan here, obviously make sure you know what the weather's going to be like and what's happening at the dam and at the river. There's somebody at the dam that you can contact and find out the conditions of the causeway. And then of course you must not underestimate the time it takes to get out. So Eland's Pass is a hectic climb out, and then from there at KP 30 all the way here to there, that's a big 30 kilometers, a big 30. It took me 3.5 hours to do 15 kilometers. Yeah, okay, I am loaded, but there's a lot of climbing here, a lot of climbing in and out to get from Fontaine Pass. There's Eland's Pass, and then that's a slow climb here. This stretch here is pretty hectic. Anyway, I got to KP 15. It started getting dark, and I spent the night at KP 15. There's a Marasi there, which is a ruin of a farmhouse. In fact, it's just a cabin, 2 windows and a door, and the roof was gone, but it had a concrete floor, and I was able to camp out in there. That was on the advice of Marionnette at Fontaine Pass. So I spent the night over there. The temperature dropped radically. It was clear and just cold, and a little bit of wind, but icy cold. Anyway, survived the night, and then early morning hit the road for Swartberg Pass. Came up to the Tolhuis. The Tolhuis is just about 3 kilometers from the turnoff here. Great spot, pizzas, cakes, coffees. It's only about 2 kilometers to the top of the pass, the Swartberg Pass. The wind was howling at the top, howling coming this way through the saddle here. And then it's a mad dash down through the pass to Kobusachat. Got to Kobusachat. Met lots of guys there going out on rides. So yeah, I had a good meal there, and then hit the road again because I was hoping to get back to Carlitzdorp that night. I was supposed to stay at Swartberg Wilds, but unfortunately I was pushed for time. Because I was pushed for time, I begged Pitt Joubert for a lift to the top here, and he kindly obliged and gave me a lift to the top of the Eland's Pass, and I hooked a ride with a local who kindly took me to the top of this point here, which is about over here, Bushman's Kop, Bushman's Head, which is that one. And then from there, it's basically downhill all the way back to Carlitzdorp. So by the time I got kind of halfway here, I contacted Kevin at Gasteria, and he offered to drive up and meet me just on the other side of the dam, and because it was starting to get dark. And anyway, there are plenty of places to steep here. I could have probably made it, but it meant I would have got here quite late. So Kevin came and fetched me, The great thing was that had he not fetched me, I wouldn't have known about all the highlights along this little stretch of road. Yeah, there's lots to see, some great places to stay, some sites that Kevin is actually arranging with a little book or a guide to various sites along this stretch of road. Yeah, this stretch, gravel road in good condition. So that was it, about 200 and just short of 250 k's. That is a few days or 5 days of 8 kilometers a day up and down here, checking the river. But yeah, 250 k's, fantastic loop. Two things: make sure you know what's happening with the river, the causeway, and make sure you have enough time to get out of the valley, because getting out of the valley is not easy. Getting down, I would say it's okay. You just got to be careful because it is quite steep, and yeah, the consequence of coming off the trail there are pretty hectic. And yeah, getting out is a big push to get over Eland's Pass and then all the way up here. This section here is pretty hectic. There's climbing up here. That's it. I don't think I got anything else. Yeah, great people, met great people, stayed at great places, saw some incredible stuff. Leopard spoor in this valley, lots of leopard spoor along here, some leopard spoor at the top of Seweweekspoort, so they are around. Lots of buck, lots of wildlife. Fish eagles down here, resident fish eagles down on this side here, thanks to Kevin, I saw those. Yeah, fantastic food at op die plaas, at Fontein Plaas, at Die Tolhuis, at Kobus se Gat, and of course at Gasteria with Kevin Taylor. Cool. And that's my review of one hell of a loop. Get ready to plan the next one. See ya.